Yeah, they all have a funky sound to them. I'm going to give you the least offensive, okay?
I can't even put my cord all the way in. You see it's hanging all the way up. And that's why I'm getting the best. I had to adjust. All right, take a moment. YouTube, you should be back. What up, Tony Rome? What up, Sheila? Out, Shayla. Uh. Uh. What up, Felicia Simmons Stovall? Eric Ralph. Shout out to Bolingbrook in the building. Y'all know I was in 4th grade with Eric Ralph. All the way back. Eric, was you there in 3rd grade? You wasn't there in 3rd grade. We went to Northview. We were Northview noblemen. What's up, Dennis Evans? Hey, Dennis. I saw you trying to get slick yesterday. I seen you trying to get a brother. That was the joke of the century yesterday. The joke of the century. Y'all know I'm never letting that go. I'm gonna be like, are y'all having a party? What kind of party? All right, take a moment, share the broadcast. What's up? I'm trying to get you up on YouTube. It says it's live, but I can't tell. What up, Felicia? What up, Tiger Lily? What up, Dennis Evans? Congratulations to Tiger on becoming a moderator in the Lions Den. What's in it for the Black People page? What up, Chess, etc.? What up, Lente? Mean Lente. What up, Yashika Wadi? What up, Erica Swain? Erica, we need the deets. We need the details on Dancing with the Greeks. Tennessee, okay. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is Miss Krishan Lampley. Hey, Krishan, I want to correct something. Centoya Brown was actually in Tennessee.
Yes.
Tennessee, so I apologize for my error. Let me run through some of these headlines. Did you see Time has named its person/persons of the year? And it is really about journalists and journalism. Jamal Khashoggi. They named Jamal Khashoggi. Let me see. The Staff Capital Gazette. Maria Ressa from the Philippines. Wa Love and Kwa Su of Reuters. And they named these journalists persons of the year because they are saying that journalism has become a life-threatening issue, particularly that story of Jamal Khashoggi. That was...
Did you hear the video or the recording of his last few words?
No, I did not. I did not. How was it?
I mean, it was just so... I froze when I heard it. I told you I'm a huge advocate of watching CNN, and they played it, and it was very much of, I can't breathe. Like, I don't... Like, he's not knowing what's going on, what's happening to him. And it was just an amazing thing to hear something like that, but then have the president act as if, you know what? No, it's just somebody that it's just a casualty of war.
I'm going to tell you.
It was unreal.
I think it was unreal. You know what? I think I'm dispassionate. Can I be honest? So, I'm going to be honest. So, like, I have probably seen so many black people killed in front of me. Or not in front of me, but on social and on digital and all these platforms, that sometimes I think I don't have a lot of tears. I don't have a lot of foreign tears when I have a lot of local tears. And it is not surprising to me that there's a lack of passion for someone in a foreign country when there is a lack of passion for the people that are right here, for the citizens of Illinois. So I, as a person who does speak truth, or at least my truth on the radio, though, I do believe that it's crazy that you should be killed for things that you say. How about, did you all see this? Berwyn South Loop raids netted 90 kilos of marijuana. So they raided 2 homes, one in Berwyn and one in the South Loop. Like one was on 100 East 14th, 15th, something like that. I feel like I know some people around there. But that was 90 kilograms. That's a lot. What was it, like 2.4 million in city, in street value? Did you see the story about? Did you see the story about the Evanston police officer that joined the DEA to protect the local gang? You know what that reminds me of? Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I was saying I saw the story and what movie I assume that you was out to say it reminds you.
Well, you know what? Do you remember? Well, first of all, let me say this. Think about how deep it is that a gang member joins the police force and then joins the DEA to protect an organization. Now, can I tell you what, though? I seen that happen before at the University of Illinois. And you know how you don't really realize who you dealing with? Like when you in college and then all of a sudden you like, wait a minute. But you know, I was just thinking like, you know what song, you got my clip? It makes me think of my movie. Remember when, did y'all see Colors?
Of course.
Okay, remember that clip in Colors? Remember this?
There's no turning back now, Holmes.
You joined the gang.
Gang.
It's like,
Anybody or Holmes.
hey man, do you think that, so you know what, but you know what I was thinking about that police officer and the story? I was also thinking about how does that play out with Latino officers and black people? Right? Have you ever noticed that a lot of times when there's shootings or beatings or people show up, I think that there is still the Latino loyalty to the neighborhood, like when they show up as police officers in our neighborhood.
Would you think that is with any officer coming from that certain community, there would be a loyalty?
No. I think that black folks know that you can't go into a white person's neighborhood and beat them down. I think that black folks know you can't go into a Latino neighborhood and beat them down. I think everybody knows they can come to a black neighborhood and beat us down. And I'm going to tell you that Latino police officers tend to be way more aggressive. I would tell you to go back and watch the videos and watch what happens when it's the interaction of Latino officers with black people. They got a chip on their shoulder, man.
Is it true also that black officers tend to be a little more harsh on black males? I've heard that.
I think that
they've had more problems with black officers.
You know what? I don't know if that's the case, or are you more likely to run into a black officer, right? I think that your interaction, as a matter of fact, I think your interaction really depends too on your interaction with the police. Also is determined by kind of how you deal with that officer. I was pulled over this on Sunday actually in Beverly, and I'm gonna tell you, the first thing I did was go live. And then the second thing I did was put my hands on the steering wheel. So I think that I have seen black police officers show out, but I would tell you that more likely than not, if you're not really being a jack butt with the police officer, black police officer, and I'm not talking about a shooting or a murder or whatever. I think that they have been, in my estimation, pretty fair. I'm not talking about the shootings, and I'm not talking about, and quite frankly, my worst interactions with police have come with white police officers. They have not come from black police officers.
Mine have come with women police officers.
Now that is a whole nother story that we'll talk about a little bit later. Hey, you know what? When we come back, it's going to be time for the social media question of the day. But you know what? We'll talk about it after news, traffic, and the weather. Good morning, y'all. take a moment, share the broadcast. So, in my estimation, my worst interactions have come with white police officers. That is no doubt. The person who pulled a gun on me was a white police officer. What is going on? YouTube, are you there? All right. Why does it seem so fuzzy? Let's go share. All right, y'all. Krishana, I see you've got quite a few wine bottles there with you today.
I do. I said, you know what? Let me just line the babies up today. I'm gonna line them up. It's holiday time, so let's line them up.
What you got?
I got all my varietals, but I just got shipped. Like, I'm literally on maybe about an hour's worth of sleep because I just unpacked my new rosé called We Go High. So I know Maze like rolled his eyes when I told him that was the name of We Go High.
Y'all know how I feel about.
Stop. There could be other meanings of We Go High, right? So no, I'm excited because I just introduced that today. So I have a lot of packing to do. I have a lot of dropping off to do today. So today's gonna be fun. But I wanted to get your audience, because your audience has been so great to me, to introduce it to them first. So your audience is the first to see We Go High Rosé by Love Corkscrew. So I'm very excited. Today's gonna be a fun day for me. And even more fun being on here with you guys.
Oh, wait, thank you.
Oh, somebody just said they bought my wine yesterday. Thank you. Thank you, Kay. Oh, yes, you did. Yes, I got an online sale from you yesterday. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys have been great.
All right, y'all. Take a moment, share the broadcast. Was that Big Brother Kang, Mufasa Red? Kang is always a supporter of black people. What's up? Mike Brown, what up? Tiger Lily, what up? Hassan Al Amin, what up? Miko, thank you all for being in the in-studio audience last night. I hope you all enjoyed Poli Sci 101 last night. I actually had a great time doing it. What up, Shamil Christine? What up, Denise Russell? What up, Dennis Evans? What up, John Rimbert? What up, Salim Muwakil? What up, Alvin E. Norton? What up, Melvin Griffin? What up, Mark Allen? What up, Tammy Jackson? What up, Anita Andrews Hutchinson? Anita, was good seeing you yesterday. We're going to be neighbors. That's right. I mean, I'm going to tell y'all what. I know people talking crazy about us moving, but I'm excited. Our new studio's finna be fly. And it just felt so good. You know, it just felt so professional. Like, you know, when you roll up and you be like, ah! Hey, man, y'all got to understand. So, okay, I'm going to tell you. Let me just tell y'all. When I worked there in 97, they wouldn't even pay for our parking. I remember I would have to do promotions, and we would park across the street, and parking, because I was from the suburbs, I wouldn't take the bus. And it was like parking was a quarter of my check, literally. But I remember working there, and that's when I started making a name for myself. That's when I learned about the business. I went from making $45,000 a year to $18,000, but it was probably the best experience that I had. I'm going to be honest with you. Most jobs that I've ever had, because I've been an entrepreneur all my life, all my adult life, has really given me the opportunity to learn a business and then go do it. I think people oftentimes say they want to be entrepreneurs because they like the business, but they haven't worked in the business. I think one of the things that you have to do, most successful entrepreneurs learn a business or a trade or a skill. They work there for a while, and then once they master it, they learn how to get clients, they learn how to sell, and then they move in. A lot of times, that's the mistake that our people make. But I was thinking about being at V103 was where I learned the fundamental basics. So the two fundamental things that I did was Basic Management 101 from Burger King. I know it sounds crazy. Basic Management 101 from Burger King and working at V103 were the two foundational experiences that I think propelled everything else. Basic management training at Burger King taught me how to motivate minimum wage employees. If you can motivate a person to clean a bathroom, a high school student to clean a bathroom after a high school football game when their peers are in the building, you can probably motivate somebody to do any other thing you want to. So that was one of the first ones. Then working at V103, it showed me as a grunt all of the facets of the music industry that I did not know about from watching it on TV. So being a promotions assistant meant that I was a grunt on the ground everywhere. I could go anywhere and I was making no money. But I met everybody. I'm like a hustler, right? So like as an 18, by the time I was through making at that job, I was making $18,000 in salary, but probably about $40,000 on the side, right? And it was where I learned the different ways to make money, and I learned promotions, which is where I really excelled. From there, I went to become the director of urban marketing for Coca-Cola, where I made them approximately $60 million in incremental sales, and it's on from there. But it all started at walking through that building. And it was just so like, man, ready to learn. You're not a little girl, you're a woman. Take let me tell you, baby, I'm yours for the taking, so you can do what you please. Don't take my love for granted, 'cause you're all I'll ever need. Hold me in your arms, and never let me go. There's a right and a wrong way to love somebody. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me as she has been and will be all week is Miss Krishan Lampley. Krishan.
Yes.
I know you are an avid viewer of CNN, so I know you had to see yesterday the explosion that went down, the blow up between Chuck Nancy and Donald Trump.
Oh my gosh, talk about a reality show. That was unbelievable. Not only was it completely contrived, I think it was completely contrived, but it really, I watch body language a lot. I pay attention to body language. I've been in sales and marketing for 20-something years. And when I was watching Nancy's body language, she wanted to explode. And Trump was having just this great time. He was having this great time totally placating to exactly who he needed to, and that's his audience. And that was unreal. And I thought it was, for him, it was perfect.
Well, you know what? Let's go to the clip because I think we got some audio. Go ahead, Sonia.
We don't have to contradict in public the statistics that you put forth, but instead can have a conversation about what will really work and what the American people deserve from us at this uncertain time in their lives.
Well, one thing I think we can agree on is we shouldn't shut down the government over a dispute. And you want to shut it down. You keep talking about it.
The last time, Chuck, you shut it down.
No.
And then you opened
20
it up very
times.
quickly. And
20
I don't
times.
want to do what you did.
20 times you have called for, I will shut down the government if I don't get my will. None of us have said
You want to know something?
You've said
okay,
it.
you want to put that on
You've
my...
said it.
I'll take it.
Okay, good.
You know what I'll say? Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
Absolutely.
fair enough.
And I
We
am
disagree.
proud, and I'll
We
tell you what,
disagree.
I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck, because the people of this country don't want criminals and people that have lots of...
I shut them down, shut them down.
So I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it. The last time you shut it down, it didn't work. I will take the mantle of shutting down.
That is
And I'm going to
lovely.
shut it down for border
But we
security.
believe you shouldn't shut
Okay.
it down.
But you can
Thank you very much, everybody.
That was amazing.
I'm going to tell you, Trump said, what'd he say? Shut them down. Shut them down. What? Oh, so check it out. It's the social media question of the day. Should Democrats shut down the government over Trump's wall? WVON family, give us a call, 773-591-1690. Post a Facebook tweet, and we're going to get your comments on the air. Krishan, so I agree with you in saying that it was completely contrived. I think that was a win for Donald Trump.
Huge win. And that's the part that people are saying, regardless if he lied, like 90% of what he said was a lie, right? We know people aren't coming in, all of them drug dealers. We know they're not coming in, all of them
I don't.
bringing, come on, you really
I don't know nothing.
You come on now.
I don't know.
They're not. We
Hey
know
man, you
they're
saw
not.
they just found 90 pounds of they found 90 kilos of marijuana right here in Chicago. El Chapo was they was just talking about Chicago was the center point for El Chapo. This was the distribution center for all. And man, y'all can talk that mess if y'all want to. And at the same time, a black man can't get a job fixing the street in the south side of Chicago. I don't know what y'all talking about. I want to understand. Help me understand.
It was a joke. People enjoyed it. They enjoyed the reality show of it, period. We all get upset and we get irked on what Trump gets away with, but he will consistently, continually get away with it because it's giving them this reality show. It's giving people entertainment, and they love it.
I think it's a little bit more than
All right,
entertainment.
let's go for it.
Because I'm going to tell you, I think it's real people out there that want a wall. I think that it's real people. I think it's real black people that if they had a choice, they would be like, build that wall.
Because that's just going to solve all problems.
I think that we didn't. I'm going to tell you what. I think that if we had a decrease in undocumented immigrant population in Chicago, that black unemployment would not be at 18%.
No.
Black unemployment in Illinois and in Chicago, where this is a sanctuary city, where the mayor recruits people, and when you drive, man, a young black man can't cut the grass in his own neighborhood at this point, because guess what? Because there's going to be a squad of people who are happy to cut everybody's grass for $10 with one trip. Now, I am suggesting this. If we are willing to shut down the government over, what did Trump say he wanted, $5 billion? He wanted $5 billion allocated this time. Now, I'm going to tell you, we spent $5 billion. They waste $5 billion weekly on toilets. And I'm saying that if they shut down the government, so if the military can't get their checks, if you can't go to the Obama Center, or not the Obama Center, but to the Smithsonian African American Museum of History, because they won't give him the money for his wall, which he promised. Now, I'm going to say this. He did tell us that Mexico was going to pay for it.
Yeah, we see what happened with that.
Well, I don't know. Because didn't he just cut a new trade deal with Mexico? Didn't he renegotiate NAFTA? So some kind of way, see, that's my thing. Donald Trump, say what you want, is keeping all of his campaign promises. All of them. Whether it's an executive order, now you all can reverse them if you want to. But right now, they are arguing with Donald Trump to not keep a campaign promise. And I'm telling you right now, I want to know from black people in Chicago, should the Democrats allow the government to be shut down over the wall? This is black folks. So dig this. You want the wall or you want your check?
That's what I was about to say. During Christmas?
The wall. Okay, so imagine ain't no checks coming
During the holidays.
during the holidays.
Come on.
Because you can't pay $5 billion for the wall. Give me a call, 773-591-1690. Wall or no wall? Should the Democrats allow the government to be shut down over Donald Trump's wall? Frank, you want to talk Chicago, 1690.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning. May you said, no, they shouldn't allow the government to shut down over $5 billion wall. I think they should give Trump his wall, and I stand for that, and I got good leg to stand on. You want to shut down the government over the lack of the Justice Department protecting civil rights. Shut down the government over the lack of prison reform. Shut down the government over the lack of the Justice Department not protecting the police decrees, you know what I'm saying, that's protecting black and brown people. Shut down the government with health care, Indians workers. Give Trump his wall. I agree with that wall. This is ridiculous. $1.5 trillion tax break to the rich, and you can't give $5 billion for that wall. Give him his wall. Thank you.
Frank say he want the wall. I'm gonna tell y'all. I really think we need to broadcast WVON to the Black Caucus in Washington D.C. Remember when I'm telling you, Jan Schakowsky came and sat right in that chair right there, and I'm telling you, we single-handedly killed the Dreamer stuff that they was arguing about, because she sat right here in the WVON family said black folks don't care nothing about. Okay, so help me understand. Black people's social media question of the day: should Democrats shut down the government over Trump's wall? Chuck says he wants to shut it down because he thinks people will be mad at Trump. I think I'd be mad at whoever shut down the government over $5 billion. Ronnie, you on the Talk of Chicago, 1690.
Good morning, Brother Mays, to the sister, your guest. First of all, when the government shut down, a lot of us need to be educated that 85% of the government is still running. And if you remember when Barack Obama, when they shut the government down with Ted Cruz, you're allowed to pick which federal places allowed to stay open. So the whole government is not shut down. And build that wall. And we talk about Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Jordan, and Coretta Scott King. All three of those black women did lectures on how illegals affect black people. Thank you.
I'm just telling y'all. Okay, so let me just say this. Our representatives are elected to represent us, right? I'm suggesting that when you talk to black people, they probably won't say it out loud. They won't. But black people can feel it, and they saying, man, build that wall. It's the Talk of Chicago, 1690. We'll be back after traffic and the weather.
More of the morning show with Lady Jackson.
They want that wall. Look. Only one person said don't build. I'm telling you, and I'm telling y'all, if Donald Trump built the wall, Latinos would be the first people in line building that mug. They would be like, I need the contract. We'll be out there protesting. We'll be protesting because we ain't get the contract, and all the Latinos out there building the damn wall. Right? Because the first mug's telling you who they don't want over here is the legal Latinos. Y'all don't want to hear it. Y'all don't want to mess. Y'all don't want none of this. Y'all don't want none of this. Y'all ain't ready for the morning show. Don't make me ring my MAGA hat up in here. Take a moment, share the broadcast. Okay. I don't see black unemployment stats improving because Trump gets the wall. The biggest problem for black unemployment is racism. Right, because white people that is in control of the jobs pick the Latinos first. So if you move them out of the way, then we can go back to getting our subservient jobs that we had before. I'm just joking. However, I'm just saying, if you have a choice between a angry black man as an employee or a Latino who is not going to say nothing but yes, sir, no, sir, and be quiet, who are you taking?
Latino.
Now, I'm just being real with you, right?
It's true.
It's like when you pull up in the parking lot, if there's a black handyman and a Latino handyman, you're going to take the Latino handyman. Say what you want to say, because y'all going to be like, dude, you going to come in my house, and he going to blah, 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 blah. I saw people sit right in that seat, right where you're sitting, and say, don't have them come in your house. Tell a white person that. So, what I'm telling you is, we have allowed ourselves to be displaced. And I don't think, it's like, you guys got to go back and watch Poli-Sci 102 and understand how I broke down what's going on with Chewy and what's going on with how the Latino community is really starting to circle the wagons. Everybody laughs at what I'm saying until you wake up and you be like, holy cow, they just pulled it. If this is a one-term mayor and everything is, remember, this next mayor coming up is going to do all the dirt. He's going to have no choice. Rahm took the first $100 million tax raises and all of that, raised the water fees. This next mayor has to solve the pension crisis, which is part of the reason that Rahm got out of it. Now, what I don't like is the fact that Rahm is trying to fix it before he leaves, which is really to will the money to the bond companies that he wants the money to go to. The fix is going to be the same for whoever. The key is, do I get to give the $10 billion out to my friends before I leave, or do I leave that $10 billion gift to the next person? Now,
And I am proud, and I'll tell you what, I am proud to shut down the government for border security.
It's the social media question of the day. Should Democrats shut down the government over Trump's wall? I'm going to tell you, no, they shouldn't shut down the government over Trump's wall. $5 billion is nothing. I'm going to tell you, $125 billion is nothing in the U.S. government budget. And so even if they gave him 100, and quite frankly, can I tell you, if they were smart, all they would do is reallocate money. They already spend, I bet if you look at the Homeland Security budget right now, I bet you it's multiple billions of dollars. Matter of fact, Ty, why don't you look and see if you can find for me the budget of the Homeland Security. And I'm going to tell you that if you look at the defense budget, and you took the defense budget, I bet that is trillions of dollars. So you pulling out $100 billion to put a wall together, quite frankly, do y'all know that we already spend $25 billion minimally a year on border security?
So it's really not about the money, right?
Right, go ahead.
It's really not about the money that's going to be spent to build this wall. All this is Dems against Republicans, and this is, in the Dems' eyes, more of a moral standpoint. As well as, they say more illegal aliens come in above and beyond the wall, correct? There's so many other ways that they come in that...
Well, Trump said, hold on, you need to come in through one of the entry points. I can't get into Jamaica off the island.
Right.
I don't get to just roll up on the beach with my boat in Jamaica and just scoot on up and be like, I'm here now. I got to go through a point of entry.
But truly, this is just a Band-Aid on a gun wound. So this is really not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. But you're looking at Trump's base, right? They're the base of, unfortunately, a lot that are racist, a lot that don't get it, don't get politics, but got into politics because they're watching Trump, because the reality of Trump, that they're just going to go with whatever he says, right? They're drinking the Kool-Aid. Well, so we're going to jump on something that really means nothing to us. If you really truly ask them to explain what Trump is saying, I bet you most of them have no idea what he's talking about.
I'm going to tell you, perception in politics is greater than reality. And right now, the massive border rush, the high unemployment for black people, I'm going to tell you, it is a toxic mix occurring. And I think that Trump, if the government shuts down because of Democrats protecting undocumented immigrants, or as, what did LaShawn Ford call them, illegal aliens? I was like, dang, LaShawn, you tripping. I think there'll be a price to pay. I don't think we should shut down the government over this petty little wall, because it's not even in 4 years. It's not even gonna get really started getting built. And I'm just gonna say, I want some of the contracts. Lisa, you want to talk Chicago? Should Democrats shut down the government over the wall?
Good morning, Mays, and to you guys. Absolutely not. If Trump wants to stop the illegal migration, I think it should be a constitutional amendment to the U.S. Constitution. If your parents are not U.S. citizens, neither are you. Also, the companies that hire these people, they're responsible for putting them to work. So, you can build the wall. They're going to get around the wall. The wall is not going to stop anything. And I agree with you. It's not about the wall or the money. It's just him, placating to his base. I don't care if the government shut down.
Oh, so you say we should shut the government down over the wall?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying shut it down, because we got to remember, you got all of those Section 8 checks that need to go out.
Right.
Need to get their money.
Uh-huh.
Seniors who need to get their Social Security check. So, no.
Think about that. So, I'm just saying. So, Chuck Schumer is saying your granny can't get her check over this wall. Okay. Y'all help me understand. Let's go to Ronald. Ronald, you want to talk Chicago. Should Democrats shut down the government over the wall?
Let's be real. We don't want to interfere in these other countries, so we're paying the price for this that we did. So people need to understand. Number two, if the government shut down, Social Security and all those checks are already, I think, is removed from that shutdown. That's one thing the government will not be able to stop. So that's already taken care of. But see, that's the fear he putting on people, that if I shut down the government, you would not be receiving. No, if you look in there, there's a provision for that. So that's what people need to look into, and that's what he's playing off of. But my thing is, let's be real. We don't want to interfere in these other countries, so we need to help these countries so they don't have to come over here.
What? Man, we won't even help us. There's black folks around here. Can I help y'all understand? There's homeless black people in Bronzeville. There is a shelter for undocumented immigrants that gives them the resources of everything that those same homeless black kids in this city don't have. Don't tell me about what we need to help everybody else when we don't even help ourselves. Mama D, you on the Talk Chicago, 1690.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We didn't get a check for 246 years. Democrats shut down the government for non-citizen statutory settlers to protect that reparations dream act. I don't want 12 million people butting in front of a line that crimes against humanity descendants, Jim Crow genocide survivors, and who are indigenous Native Black Americans, been standing in the line for 399 years. Shut. I don't care if the government I want the wall. I want the wall. I want the wall. Thank you.
Oh, you know what? You got to turn that into a promo. I need that into a promo. I just think that people are out of touch. I think our leadership is out of touch with, and I'm going to tell you, so this is black radio. What you think is happening over in the country corner? I'm going to tell y'all, I don't think people understood this when I said this before. I said Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders are almost the same person if you meet on the other side of the world. When Joe Walsh and I did Black and White, and there was really black people in the room and white people in the room, and they were really not Latinos, I would be honest with you and tell you that there was more commonality between the way people felt. You'd be surprised at the way black people feel about this issue. You'd be surprised when you think about Detroit and bringing the jobs back. Who was that in Detroit? Them auto workers ain't just white folks. Right. Them black folks. Remember how Detroit used to be? You know how you had a cousin in Detroit and everybody had a good car,
the Mecca,
nice, right?
Owned dealerships, yeah, the Mecca.
Yeah, I think that we have to be real in this understanding, and we got to start making sure that we are advocating for ourselves. I keep telling y'all better pay attention, because while we running around here fighting for everybody else, they fighting for themselves. Look, it's Talk Chicago, 1690. When we come back, you know what, we're going to get into Rahm Emanuel's parting gifts. He got a lot he want to say and do before he get up out of here. All right, talk about it later. Traffic, news, and the weather's next.
The talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation.
I want the wall. I want the wall. Mama D said, I want the wall. She sang it.
I put a beat behind that. That was awesome.
I want the wall. What up, Lynn? What up, Miko? What up, Remy Ramsey? What up, Tiger Lily? What up, Kang Mufasa Red? What up, Andre Smith? What up? Hey, y'all, check out Andre Smith has got a toy drive. Shoot me that information and post it in the den too. What up, Sonia Escobar? What up, Reese Mizzo? What up, Carol Muhammad? What up, Shippy? What up, Rob Payback Ellis? Y'all know that's my ship, right? We crossed September 1st, 1990, 5:32:30 a.m. at the great University of Illinois, better known as the Epsilon Xi chapter. You know what? Ship. Did you hear that yesterday, Shug?
I knew you were going to go into that.
Did you hear that? Shug. Man, you know how many bros called me last night, like, straight up? I was like, I know. It's like, I know. What up, Dr. Darlene? What up, Tamiko? What up, John Hunt? What up, Dennis Evans?
We have Dorf here.
Oh, dang. Is he here or he's on the phone?
Yeah, well, on the phone.
What time?
7.
Oh, what are we talking to him about? The kid. Oh, my God. The kid. Okay. I didn't even. You didn't even remind me that. You didn't remind me that this morning.
I know.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
You did it like I'm crazy too. Like didn't nobody say nothing this morning?
I did it like I forgot too. That's
okay,
what
I was about to
doing.
say like, Dad, you making it like I did. Like I'm the crazy. He like
Dorf here.
Like
I just like saying his name for whatever reason.
Like Dorf.
He's one of those fun names.
Dorf.
Yeah.
See, I feel like that would have been a punishment name growing up, cause they would have been like dork. Remember when dork was a word?
Well, that's what I thought you said. I thought you said dork.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I'm like, ooh.
What up, Lonzo?
Like, this is a joke.
What up, Tamiko Hope? Oh, this is gonna be good, y'all. Michael Dorf. This is going to be good. What's up, Howard Trout? What up, Queen Sister? You know Queen Sister said build that wall. Sadiq, I got you after I get off today, man. It's just been crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my dude, Beezy, Vince, Greasy Bash, y'all, man. Y'all send some love out to my brother. You know what I'm saying? What up? Hey, Kenneth Johnson, you're getting tired of my full-fledged support of Trump. It's a manufactured crisis to gin up his base. The wall will be a total waste of money. Do you think that wall will be more of a waste of money than Battleship Galactica that we spend? Do you know how much money we waste and spend right now? All I'm suggesting is, and did you say my unabashed support of Trump? I don't have unabashed support of Trump. As a matter of fact, you should really go back and look. I was there with Hillary even on the first night in Iowa. All the way, man, I put people on her campaign staff, the whole thing. I advised Hillary that she was going to actually lose if she didn't make a change. Actually, Robbie Mook came in and I talked to all of her senior campaign staff and laid out how it was going to unroll. I unveiled it all, right? No one would listen to me. And then when it happened on election night, everybody called and was like, damn, you called it. So this is all I'm saying. I am saying right now again, people get mad because I'm telling you what's happening, not necessarily my support. Now, I do enjoy the disruption, but what you have to understand is Trump is fulfilling his campaign promises so that when he goes back to run again, right, he can tell his base he fought for them. He stood up for them. And if he couldn't get it passed as a law, he got it passed as he did an executive order. All of the things which is why I keep telling y'all, we need to leverage Trump's disdain for President Obama to give him an answer. I believe you could get reparations, if you didn't call it reparations, out of Donald Trump. Remember when, I think if you went and you said, tell Ben Carson with HUD, Ben, and I got this part of this from J.R. Ewing, so I don't want to make sure I want to make sure y'all are clear. But he was pointing out that over the life of a voucher, their houses get paid for time and time and time again. We have all these abandoned houses. Why not go to Ben Carson and say, instead of vouchers, let's put people on a path to home ownership with the HUD program and eventually phase it out? Not a bad idea if you think about it. And in the process, when he just doesn't communicate it right. So when he was saying you don't teach people how to screen doors and blah, 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 really what he was trying to say is you have to teach people how to be homeowners who have lived in subsidized housing. No one wants to say that, but that's the point. So now you go to him and you say, here's the housing package for black people. Now, you talk about education, so you get an educational set aside. Maybe it's free tuition and they subsidize the HBCUs. I don't know. Or there's subsidized tuition for black people that graduate from a college, blah, 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 and you can go to college and university free, right? And then you think about, so it's education, home ownership, and, again, we need a think tank that takes the biggest issues, crunches them down, has a solution, and then goes and presents it. But again, you confuse that as unabashed support for Trump. I see chaos. If you watch Game of Thrones, perfect thing Littlefinger said, chaos is a ladder. Use the anger and the distrust and the whatever they got that's going on with the Latinos, who not are our common enemies, but are our common competitors for resources. Leverage that to move us forward. Now, they got their own people that's doing their fighting. They ain't gonna, you think they gonna let us take them off the map? Hell no, they not. They gonna do their fighting. So fight to climb, leverage the fight while they over there be like, hey, build your stuff. I know. Is that unabashed support of Trump? Or is that Mays just saying take every opportunity and take advantage of it? Trump could say, can I tell you what? There's probably times that if I thought that I could get through, and I heard this from Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson used to say, if somebody said nigger in a negotiation, most of the people would get up and walk out of the room, and they were able to blow up the negotiations. And he would sit through it and then really negotiate the issue. That's been my place in life for a long time, and that's how I've been able to succeed as well as advocate for black folks. Somebody has to be able to tolerate the craziness to be able to get to the issue. That's too much for y'all? See, I be doing too much in the breaks. I'm sorry, I'll stop talking. Say, wake me up before you go. Hey, go, yo. Wake me up before you go. Wake me up. It's hot in here. I'm going. Yeah. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Wake me up before you go. George Michael. Can I tell y'all what? Rest in peace to George Michael. You know, I'm not a big, that whole blue-eyed soul stuff. I'd be like, hold on.
Oh, but he was fine.
Well, let me just tell you, George Michael wasn't thinking about neither one of y'all.
At all.
And he wasn't thinking about neither one of y'all. So y'all can admire him all y'all want. But can I tell you what though? I was watching his I don't know what it was. It was a documentary.
Yeah.
It was so deep and so interesting. And he was like troubled and all type of stuff.
Extremely troubled.
Right. Hey, man, that was good stuff. Oh, wake me up before you go. What am I doing? I'm all over the place. It's the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Mays Jackson. Sitting in with me as she has been all week, it is Miss Krishan Lampley with a Love Corkscrew. She got all the wines on the table, so you might want to check them out. You check us out on Facebook Live. Now, you know how I do at the top of the hour. Got to say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar. She is the musical conductor of the Soul Plane. Hey, y'all, I misled you a little bit on the break because I forgot that we have one of what I think could become a blockbuster story in Chicago politics. Now, guys, I have been trying to educate you all on the petition challenge process. We got a mayor's race as well as a variety of aldermanic races in all of our 50 wards. And I've been talking about the challenge process. And a lot of what I've been talking about is the process of verifying and challenging the signatures. Because what you basically, in Illinois, the real game is to not have, the real election is to not have an election. Ultimately, the ultimate goal of most political operatives is to remove all competition from the ballot so you don't have to run a race. If you don't have to run a race, then you don't have to waste those resources, and then you can use them for other things as well as to support other candidates. Well, you all know how it goes. in the most powerful ward, or the most powerful man in the state of Illinois, Mike Madigan, resides in the 13th ward. And in the 13th ward, he has his henchman, his number one main right-hand man, his army, his general, is Marty Quinn. Marty Quinn is one of the top political operatives, as well as he is the alderman of the 13th ward. But there was an interesting situation in the process, because Marty Quinn's being challenged by a 19-year-old DePaul student, David Kruppa. Did I get that right? And we're going to talk about this petition challenge. But you know what I think better than me to describe the story? Let's talk to Attorney Michael Dorff. Attorney Michael Dorff, welcome to the WVON Morning Show. How are you today?
Well, thanks very much. I appreciate being on.
Oh, well, I'm grateful that you had time to make it for us. So tell us exactly what is going on in the 13th Ward, because when I saw this on Chicago Tonight, I was like, wait a minute, something is amiss here. Talk to me. What's going on?
Well, the first thing is you are absolutely right that there is no election an incumbent likes more than being alone on the ballot and not having to run. It's the best thing. It's what they all dream for. And they in the 13th Ward they've done something that really none of us who practice this type of law have really ever seen before. There's a funny little provision in the election code. You need 473 signatures on your petitions to get on the ballot. But there's a provision in the election code that says that if somebody who signed a petition changes their mind, they can file an affidavit saying, I want my signature taken off of that person's petition. And what they did in the 13th Ward is they, from what we understand, is people from the ward organization went door to door and got people to sign these affidavits saying, I signed for David Krupa and I revoke my signature.
What was wrong with that? I mean, that's rules to the game, right?
Yeah, it's the rules of the game. The thing is, though, they got 2,796 affidavits.
They're really good. That's good.
They're terrific. And we only collected about 1,700 signatures.
Wait. Hold it. Let me back up. WVON family, I need you to hear this. So now they collected, come on, tell me one more time, Attorney Dorff. They collected how many affidavits?
2,796 affidavits.
2,796 affidavits. Now, is an affidavit a legal document?
It is. It says that. It says, I swear under oath that this is true.
Is that kind of like when you go to court and you say, I hereby swear to God that I, such and such, am not a liar and will tell the truth, so help me God?
Absolutely. The same perjury rules apply. Yeah.
So how could people sign a legal document swearing that they signed it? That seems like over 1,000, almost 1,800 people must have committed perjury.
Well, and it's even more because when they finally filed their actual challenge, they only used 187 of those. So it means that there were over 2,600 false affidavits that the ward organization filed.
Wow. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, because you know what? I'm thinking, really no big deal, because those aren't like notarized, though, are they?
Oh, sure. Everyone notarized.
Wait. Okay, now I'm confused. So, the people that make the laws in the state of Illinois sent people out on the streets to get people. This was all part of the rules. You could go out and get people to say, I revoke my signature. But they had them take sworn affidavits and then had them notarized. Now, for those of y'all that don't understand what I'm talking about with the notarized, that's when you got to go when you go to the currency exchange and pay $2, and they got to put the stamp on it and sign it, and you got to show your driver's license to prove that you are swearing to God that this is not a lie. So now they have 1,800 lies on file with notarized signatures. Look, attorney, is anybody in trouble?
Well, yeah. I mean, each one of under the election code, filing a false affidavit in an election matter is a felony. So we're asking that the state's attorney take a look at this as well.
So now, Attorney Dorff, help me understand this. This is a 19-year-old kid from DePaul University who just wants to participate in the governmental process. Why would somebody do something? Why would somebody do something like this?
Well, I think part of it is they thought nobody would ever find out, because if we hadn't filed a Freedom of Information Act request, we would never have known that there were these almost 2,800 affidavits, because the only ones which showed up in the case are the 187 that actually matched. But so if we hadn't known that this was going on, we would have just seen this challenge and we would have thought, wow, they really did a great job. But this is like, those elections where the winner gets more votes than there are people in the town.
So help me understand this. So I'm getting texts from people who are telling me, but the fact of the matter is they could have filed them and the people just didn't turn in the signature. Is that possible? I mean, it seems like they're already preparing for the loophole.
Yeah. It doesn't even pass the straight face test. How if we had an extra 2,800, 3,000 signatures, exactly, we would have filed them. We would have filed everything, and then let them find the challenges. It is so ridiculous to think that we would have thrown away hundreds of petition sheets, and that assumes that every petition sheet that we would have thrown away that every single line would have had a revocation. As you know, because you've been following this for a long time, people file petition sheets that if they got just one good signature, they're going to file it. So the idea that we would throw out all these sheets is just so ridiculous.
So, Attorney Dorff, when we come back, I want to talk about this a little bit more, because I got a few more questions. And I just want to know, does this add to, in the grand scheme of things, why people are just so distrusting of our government? Look, it's the Talk of Chicago 1690. We'll be back after traffic and the weather.
More of the morning show with Lady Jackson.
So I got a text, I won't name from who, but the text tells me that they can't prove that they didn't sign, meaning they can say they signed, but the candidate didn't turn in the petition I signed. No way they can prove this. Now, the first thing I would say is, anybody black let me back up. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that the attorney is right in that they probably wouldn't hold. The attorney is right. As a person who gathers signatures, when you are turning in your numbers, you turn in all your numbers, right? You turn in what you got, unless it's blatantly fraudulent. What they need is someone to, now let me back up. What they are also saying is they told them to sign the affidavit for something else, including some of his family members. As a matter of fact, so Texter, I'm going to read your response to the attorney, because I'm going to ask, are there any witnesses that say that they were misled, etc.?
Is anybody going to go to the table and say, hey, I was misled, somebody lied to me to sign this affidavit? That's going to be the catch to see if it's truly who's at fault, right? Because if you're lied to sign an affidavit, then it would not be technically your fault because you were misled, right?
Right.
So that's going to be the issue.
That would be one of the issues. The other part I think I saw on the news was that they have actually people from his family who they negated the signature, and they're like, no, I did not know that it was negating my nephew's signature. Basically what they said was they sent people out. So this is how it works. They said that he said, y'all got this mug is running, I want him off the ballot. They went out and they said they were knocking on people 3 times and 4 times a day, like, I need you to sign this, until it was almost borderline harassment. Some people said they were scared not to sign.
So threatened.
Yeah. I think that so I also want to point out that this is the same alderman who protected, this is the same alderman whose brother was accused of kicked off the Me Too in Illinois. What up, Rudy? What up, Quasi? What up, Kiana Hughes? What up, Kip? What up, Mike Brown? What up? I thought the notary validated that the person. I thought so. Affidavits, the notary validates the person who signs the affidavit. So the affidavit, the person is swearing to the truth.
No. Okay, I know this because I was just unfortunately in a family situation where it pertained to a notary. The notary is just simply saying that you, as the person, signed this document, and they know with your driver's license, with your identification, that this is you. They don't care, nor they want to know about what the situation.
I get that. That's so that part I get.
You.
Right, but I'm saying if you stand there and say that this is me, and the notaries, I have a document that says you verified that it was you. I can take this to your name. This name says that you, Krishan Lampley, signed this. You swear to God.
So it's not the notary's fault. It's the person.
I'm not blaming the notary. Right, but the notary verifies that it's you, so you can't say I didn't sign that.
Nope, you cannot. You can say I didn't.
That ain't my signature. Oh yes, it is.
You could, yeah. So that's the issue. Do you know what you signed?
They said it was for something that, it was just verifying my signature. Well, it's not verifying their signature. It's effectively taking it off of my petition. I've had family friends that have known me my entire life who have signed one of those revocations for their precinct captain because they were told it was something that it wasn't, and they are furious.
Wicked, man. You are tuned in to the Top of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is Miss Krishan Lampley of Love Corkscrew. And on the live line, we have attorney Michael Dorff. Now, you can find him at michaeldorflaw.com. Attorney Dorff, you are representing David Krupa regarding this case. Now, break it down for me real quick. Tell me the story one more time. Just give me the real quick synopsis. How many signatures?
Signatures to be on the ballot. He collected and filed a little bit over 1,700 signatures, and the 13th Ward organization filed 2,796 sworn affidavits of people saying that they had signed his petitions. So we know at a minimum there's over 1,000 false affidavits, and after we've compared them, there are actually over 2,600 false affidavits.
Now, who is liable for the lie?
Well, this is what we're trying to find out, and we want to have the state's attorney get involved. There's a legal thing called subornation of perjury. If you encourage somebody to file a false affidavit, you are as guilty as the person who swore the false oath. And nobody wants to go after individuals in their houses who got harassed by precinct captains who came over and said, you got to sign this document.
Now break that down too, because I want to understand how does because I don't think everybody understands how this process went. So basically, the precinct captain showed up at your door and said, I need you to sign this. How did this process work?
That's our understanding, and again, from what we've heard, and we've got a few affidavits, sometimes they would come 1, 2, 3 times if this affidavit wasn't signed, and they lied about what the affidavit was. They said, this is to protect your rights as a voter, we need you to sign this, or this is to show that you're a registered voter, and people signed those things, and then they came to us and said, we didn't realize that we were saying that we had signed David's petition, which we didn't sign, or they said, we had signed Marty's first, and we hadn't Marty Quinn's first, and we hadn't done that. So all sorts of misrepresentations just to get them to sign this form affidavit that said that they had signed David's petition and they were revoking their signature.
So now, what does it mean for? Do you have any people that are willing to come forward as witnesses and say that they were misled?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because hey, man, this is Mike Madigan, and hey, bro, they got ways.
Well, we have affidavits. We have people willing.
Now you had affidavits before. That's how we got in this mess.
We got our own affidavits, right? But we have people willing to testify as well.
And so, how is the Board of Elections responding? Because I saw yesterday Marty Quinn responded by saying that Donald Trump. So help me understand what is the next step. What's going on?
Well, they're already the Quinn people are already trying to smear David. You said smearing is 19-year-old kid. But the way where we are now is we have filed a motion to dismiss the challenge and also to refer the matter to the state's attorney. And the other side's going to be filing a response today. We've got a hearing set for Saturday at 1 o'clock at the Board of Elections.
So now, is anybody thinking that there's some criminal activity going on around here? I mean, this seems to be a case of killing an ant with a sledgehammer. Why do you think they're going so hard against your client?
Yeah, I'd go beyond. It's not even a sledgehammer, it's a flamethrower.
I mean, he's a 19-year-old kid from, but I'm going to tell you, so this is WVON. So WVON, okay, and Michael Dorff. Now, I'm going to let you tell your story. Tell me, why do you think they're trying to use this nuclear device on your young man?
I think a few reasons. One is to what you had said at the very beginning. They don't want anybody on the ballot against them. But the other thing is this is sending a signal to anybody who might have the temerity to actually try to challenge anybody in that ward.
So let me tell you all. I'm going to tell you again. You've seen this story before. This is the first time we've seen it as an example for a white guy. But let me tell you, they cannot afford to have anybody successfully challenge their authority. If anyone is successful in challenging the authority, then they could be in for assaults. For challenges coming from people all over. I'm going to use Ken Duncan as the example again, right? Remember when he got out of line one time and the whole world rained down on him? They went and they found his deepest, dirtiest, darkest secret that really wasn't a secret, manipulated, sent millions of pieces of mail. Mr. Dorff, I'm going to tell you, I hope that your candidate is successful in making the ballot, but I'm going to tell you that I kind of feel sorry for him if he does. And the reason that I tell you that I feel sorry for him if he does is because while he is a 19-year-old DePaul student who is really exercising his right to participate in the electoral process, I do not think he understands the depths of which he is going. And I don't know if, as a 19-year-old young man, I don't know if he's really ready for what is about to befall him. They are going to mail. They are going to call. They are going to knock on doors. They are going to dig up. If he has a girlfriend, if he has a boyfriend, if he's ever done anything, they are going to put it out and they are going to splay him. Because, again, as you have said, as you understand, they need to make an example. And as I need for you all to understand this. Mike Madigan is the patriarch of the team, but he's aging. And so the young prince must demonstrate how ruthless and how far he will go to protect the kingdom, because if in the event that the king steps down and he assumes the spot, he can't afford to have the challenges. Attorney Dorff, I wish you all the best of luck in this challenge, and you keep us up to date. And you know what? We may call you back to find out how this thing is going. All right?
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for being on with us here in the WVON Morning Show. Attorney Michael Dorff, you can find him at michaeldorflaw.com. Hey, when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about Rahm's parting gifts, and then we're going to talk about the Google searches of the year of 2018. All of them when we come back on Talk Chicago 1690.
Live from the WVON newsroom, here's our news now.
They not ready, y'all. Let me tell you, they finna show that young man. Let me tell you, see, what you're gonna see them do to him yeah, I think it is a great opportunity to beat. I think would be so awesome is if the people rose up and just supported the 19-year-old just because they did that to him. Like, I believe that as they start sending, I hope that it backfires. Like, I hope that as you start trying to destroy the character of a 19-year-old kid, like, think about it. You called him a Trump supporter? Like, that's your answer. Like, y'all don't like no black people nowhere over there. Try to move into the 13th ward as a black person. And he, again, this is the same area where they voted for the Nazi. Yeah. Y'all don't want none of that. You know over there on Pulaski, you know where we ain't supposed to be at around them parts. In them 60s, 70s, 50s in the Pulaskis. You know how they be like, what y'all doing around these parts? Okay, you can talk to them. I gotta go. You can talk about whatever.
Well, all right, guys. So, of course, Maze says I gotta talk now, but I want to say thank you to Maze and the family here. You guys have all been amazing to me. I know I'm coming in a different realm, not as politically extreme, but I am a black-owned business. I'm a small business, and I'm a huge advocate for supporting small businesses. So I hope you guys go out and support all small businesses. I've been in this industry a long time, but seen so many black-owned small businesses go in and out. I've mentored a lot of businesses. I do come from a sector of being a brick and mortar in the industry and it not working out, and then coming back in the supplier industry. So there's so many realms of small businesses that a lot of people don't understand to support. It's not just about going to a small business that's a brick and mortar. There are other types of small businesses out there that we all can support, and they make the world go round. So I hope you guys continue to support all the businesses you know for them to succeed. I'm 5 years in the game and still very green as far as having my own wine company, but again, 20 years in the game is a long time. I've seen highs and lows. I've seen some great, I've seen some bad, but I will say Chicago is an amazing, amazing experience. And a lot of people say, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Nah, if you can make it in Chicago, you can make it anywhere. I've lived in New York. I've lived in Las Vegas. I've been around. And Chicago is this plethora of amazing family. We're less than what they say, like 0.5%, 0.5% degree of separation because Chicago is just amazing things. So people like Maze who do so much for the community and support of small businesses and small black-owned businesses. And a lot of you that I know, a lot of you, I'm like, oh my gosh, all my friends here. You guys have been amazing. So any questions about wine, by all means. Somebody's talking about dealing with Chicago politics makes you drink wine. Yes, I think that has helped my business considerably. The politicians in Chicago, thank you. Thank you for being you, because you make people drink wine. So thank you for that. But any wine questions, by all means, ask. Not only am I the owner of Love Corkscrew, but I'm definitely a wine enthusiast and wine expert. So any questions, by all means, ask. I would say during this time of year, the most questions I have deals with pairing. So if you guys have any pairing questions, during the Thanksgiving times, people are always like, what do you drink with turkey? Or what do you drink with some of the non-traditional meals? And always think of wine as, oh, somebody's like, you tried my Riesling? Oh, you want my Riesling without shipping costs. Let me know what area you live. live, and I'll tell you where to pick up the Riesling. But I ship everything via UPS. So there's a lot of wine laws that I have to ship via UPS, so that's why the cost of shipping wine is not inexpensive. But the questions that I get about pairings tend to be, what do you pair with wines during the holiday season? Really simple. Think of wine as, think of it as an ingredient or a seasoning to your food. So for instance, turkey. What do I pair with turkey? Really simple. What do you normally like with turkey? You like your cranberry sauces, right? Your dressings, your macaronis. Think about things that make sense. So sometimes with turkey, something on the lighter, sweeter hue makes sense, right? With cheeses, normally your Pinot Grigios and Chardonnays, something to cut. So just think of what makes sense. The perfect way to put it is, oh, somebody said they found my wine in Mats and Liquors. Yes, I'm in Mats and Liquors. Yes, Eddie's been great to me. That's a great supporter. I love Corkscrew. So think of, let's say, steak, right? So you're eating a great piece of steak. I always say I like my steak almost walking, medium, right? Medium rare sometimes. So think about what you season with steaks, right? You season it with pepper, the balsamic vinegars of the world. Think about what you put in steak, right? More of the peppery, more full seasonings. So think about it. That's what makes sense with what? Cabernet Sauvignon. With any of your Bordeaux's or Chiantis. Something that's rich makes sense with that. Think of your salads. Let's say you have a mango salad and you have a salad with some of your more citrusy fruits in it, or some of your shrimp salads and things. That makes sense with what? A Pinot Grigio. That makes sense with a Chardonnay. Think about your fishes, your fish that you use with butter sauce and things like that. That would pair well with a buttery varietal, more of a Chardonnay. So always think of your wines as the seasoning of your, oh wait, other things here. Think of your wine as more of a seasoning, and that makes sense with pairing wine. So again, is your wine in Bolingbrook area? Yes, I'm at the Binny's in Bolingbrook. So yes, I'm definitely in Bolingbrook.
I can tell when in the temple to come in. What are you doing? Oh, I'm like, dang. I'm like, love come quick, love come in a hurry. There's thieves in the temple tonight. I don't care if they kick, just as long as they hurt you. There's thieves in the temple tonight. Come quick, love come in a hurry. There's thieves in the temple tonight. What's up, Dr. Dodge? Care with a kick, just as long as they hurt you. There's thieves in the temple tonight. If there come save me from a cold despair. I could hang when you're around, but I should have died when you're not there. Love come quick, love come in a hurry. There's thieves in the temple tonight. Feel like you're looking for a soul, like a poor man's looking for gold. There's thieves in the temple tonight. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. Hey man, that is the purple one. You know what? The art, he went through a variety. He started out as Prince Rogers Nelson. I remember he was the kid in Purple Rain.
It's the best movie ever.
You know what you know about the best movie ever?
Oh my gosh, stop.
You know what? I told y'all, you know Purple Rain. That's where I got all my game from. I think I used to. That is a movie nobody wants to watch with me because I straight go through all the words with them. My favorite part is, what's the matter? Your shoes on too tight? I want some perfection. Let me stop. I want to see some. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Let me stop, because I will have a Purple Rain moment. Look, y'all, let's talk about what's going on in the city of Chicago. That was Krishan Lampley. She is with Love Corkscrew. She's with us all week. Mayor Rahm Emanuel is trying to, on his way out, leave us with a few parting gifts. So I want to talk about a few of them. First, he is suggesting that we need to revamp the pension system, have a constitutional change. So that's the first one. Before he leaves, he wants to award $1.7 billion in TIF money. And finally, he wants a 30 cent per gallon tax increase on gas. Dang, homie. So, Mr. Mayor, let me start with the $800 million in tax increment financing. Actually, $1.7 billion. So, first of all, I think I think we really need to have an expert come on here and explain TIF. Please. And explain tax increment financing, because I do feel like when you start throwing around these big numbers and you saying people getting $800 million, people think they're going to get a check for $800 million out of our account, and that's not it. It's really the money being deferred, the tax increases that would have, as the property value being deferred, which encouraged the person to come there to build. But when you tell somebody that $800 million, they're going to get $800 million in a time when they closing schools and they saying we got a pension deficit, you just can't match it up. It's just hard to match up. And so I think what I feel like we have to do is explain the TIFs, because I've seen TIFs work very well.
And I've seen them not make sense.
So
please explain the TIF thing. And maybe, Maze, you can help me understand, because I've known several people to get turned down for TIF dollars. Certain types of companies and businesses get turned down, or certain businesses be put in an area that doesn't make sense for their businesses to receive TIF dollars. It may make sense for the community, but doesn't make sense for the business itself to be profitable. So I'm trying to understand what makes sense and what type of business should make sense for a TIF dollar that I don't understand. It's something that I just don't like.
So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start by saying I'm not a TIF expert, and I want to get someone in to explain it. But let me just say that I do represent companies that have benefited from TIF. Currently, the companies I do always say they don't want TIF because of the strings that come with it. Right. But I think black folks are used to seeing TIF in small amounts. I think when you look at these $800 million TIFs and things like that, they are to spur the development of communities. Oftentimes when we're talking about TIF dollars, we're talking about BIF dollars, we're talking about like small business incentive TIF dollars, tax rebates, all that stuff. So I think what we need to do is really get an expert in to talk about the TIFs. Because, again, I have watched some people, particularly my guy, work with TIFs masterfully to turn Skid Row into the West Loop. Now, that would have been considered a success story years ago. Now people are mad, but if you think about when you used to drive down Madison, people used to be like, don't go on the west side, don't go on the west side, and now it's like, the west side's too bougie. So I think what we need to do is show proper examples of TIFs. I think that, quite frankly, our elected officials in some cases have not known how to master the TIFs. And here's the thing that I'm going to tell you that the challenge is right now. If you allow them to deplete the TIFs now that the development is going to all of the city, right? So now as the development starts to creep south, and the money and the property become valuable, now they want to say we want to get rid of the TIFs. So now that the Obama land is coming, and that TIF will be loaded with money because the value will go up, and there'll be a black person that can manipulate the dollars, well, we want to take that out of their hands. So I'm always tell you, just be leery when they want to take it away, but I'm going to tell you this. This is what I am going to say. I am going to tell you that I believe that Amazon was the biggest setup for a hoodwink in history. Check this out. Y'all heard of this Lincoln Yards project? The only reason you heard of the Lincoln Yards project, the only reason that they moved out all of those businesses and cleaned up that area and displaced all those people was because what? They told us Amazon was coming. They knew damn well they wasn't getting Amazon. But in the meantime, what Sterling Bay, one of the superpower developers, was able to do was to go acquire land, some of the most valuable land in the Lincoln Park area, under the guise of building the next place for Amazon. Amazon doesn't come, and they still got a multi-billion-dollar development in the middle of the city with the money allocated and everything.
Isn't that what happened with the Olympics? We thought we were getting to the Olympics, and we got X'd out in the first round, and the whole area, everybody thought, and I was one of them. I'll admit, I'm in North Kenwood, right? My thought was, yes, I'm going to rent out my place to the Jamaican bobsled team, and they're going to be able to walk to the park, and they did the same thing with the Olympics. So here we go. And didn't Seattle? Is Seattle one of the top running one for Amazon now? I believe.
Yeah, but
so we were like X'd out real quick.
But I think the real story though is like, I don't think the story is that we got X'd out. It's what was left in its place. Mm-hmm. So now, while everybody got excited for this Lincoln Yards development because it would be the hub of Amazon that we all bought into, right? They done built a soccer stadium. They building a whole new downtown. They done built entertainment venues. They done got your chops all licked up and ready. They snatched the Amazon and say, that's okay. We still get our development anyway. Right. And nobody challenged it because they thought Amazon was coming. Right. But the reality was, it was the underlay for the overplay. But you know what? Thank you, Sonia. We'll be back after traffic news and the weather. So basically, y'all, the PR, last week at the Publicity Club of Chicago, I said that was the PR move of the year that nobody ever saw coming. Sterling Bay convinced us of doing Lincoln Yards as the revitalization, and it was going to be the centerpiece of Amazon, right? Everybody assumed that if Amazon was coming, it was going to go to this Lincoln Yards project, which had a soccer stadium, which had multiple high-rise, 100-story buildings that they knocked down to 75, really creating a whole new city within the city, right? They slid that in. Amazon came out, and they still got the project. They took all the people's land. Now, they bought people out at a great rate, but they used that as the bully stick. So when Alderman Hopkins was going around saying, you got to give up your land, right? You got to give up in the interest of Amazon. People was like, damn. And who's going to be the scrap? Remember, y'all should watch the story of the people who gave Susanna Mendoza $100,000. They own the scrap yard that was in Lincoln Park that's been there before Lincoln Park became something. And Brian Hopkins threw them out. They were trying to get with the new mayor, they were betting to be able to protect their interests. It's like, y'all, multi-billion-dollar new universe. They will make multiple, almost billions. And what Rahm is trying to do is, let me tell you what's happening. He's trying to get these projects done because he's trying to give all of his people his gifts before he leaves. Remember when I tell you about people paying for their job before they leave their job? So why is Rahm trying to give away $10 billion in pension funding? Yes, he wants to do it, but he wants to get $10 billion approved. Can you imagine calling all the hedge funds up in New York and saying, I got $10 billion to give away before I go? At a high interest rate because our joint is low? Y'all don't even want. Yeah, that's too deep for y'all. I'm telling y'all too much. That's too much. So that's the $10 billion. But then when you see him trying to also get this $1.7 billion in TIF, look to the companies that's getting it. Them are his people. Right? But it's okay. I'm telling y'all too much again. It's okay. Now, I'm going to be honest with you all. I represent developers. I represent some of the developers that are in that area, honestly. Most of my developers, though, don't want TIF money. They don't want TIF money because they don't want the constraints that come with it, right? They don't want to be regulated. They don't want to have that. So basically what I do with my clients is ensure that when they build their developments that there is affordable housing, 20%. So my guy is the person that's mandated to 20%. I make sure, but we also make sure that black partners are in the development. Now our newest thing is Alderman Burnett is making all of those guys now take joint venture partners. At first it was making them hire contractors and people. Now they're having joint ventures. So again, like, I want y'all to be clear, I'm a lobbyist. I'm still a lobbyist, and I still represent high-profile, wealthy clients and companies. What I do, though, can you imagine hiring me as a lobbyist knowing what I do every day? Knowing that my clients listen to this show. So when I walk into the room and I talk to them, they know I'm asking what's in it for the black people. The clients that work with me recognize that it's a double-edged sword. So I'll be honest with you, I'm thankful for the clients that still do work for me because I create a ruckus, right? I create a ruckus. My role is to ensure that the developers are meeting the local requirements of hiring and inclusion. So you've seen some of the, like, that's why I'll tell you if you go to 27th Ward, I always tell you if you go through 27, there's no place you can go that you can't find black people working, managing, or getting into a position. Right now, if you pay attention, like in the 27th Ward, the fencing company for most of the developments is now owned by a black guy. We ain't having the union fight where we trying to do that. It's brothers that was on the street. When you look at the people that are now making most of the playgrounds in the 27th Ward, that whenever they build a development, that's a black dude, right? What Alderman Burnett has done is created an incubator for small black businesses, called them together, and then puts them in a package. When the developer comes and wants to do something, then they present their packages. What has now happened is a lot of the guys that were the challenge guys, the brothers, have now started, whether it's a security, a fencing, and they stopped. Everybody started having security companies because that's the first thing brothers want to do is I could lock it down, I could protect it. They've expanded, and so now what you're seeing is instead of brothers fighting over fights, they are now fighting over the opportunity to bid on contracts. Now what has also happened is because Burnett has mastered the development, everybody else is now trying to come to 27 to be like to push on the construction workers, etc. Alderman Burnett, being the alderman of the 27th Ward, is my people got to work first. Because he's not the alderman of the whole city. He's the alderman of the 27th Ward. So, basically, what is starting to happen is these aldermen are starting to create small networks of guys and growing their companies. So like when you look at, for instance, Related Midwest, they got a lot of, oh, am I doing this right now?
Well, no, after 8, I'm just wanted to make sure you had the info.
They're partnering with people they started with just hiring people. Now they're partnering with people on developments. So the guys that were once on the streets that have been working with them over the few years now have grown their businesses. So I'll give you an example. Y'all saw Charles and CJ were on this show one time, and they were the guys that said when the Warriors can provide for their families, when the men can provide for their families, then they ain't fighting each other, they provide. Remember that? That was about a year and something ago. Well, those guys have grown. Now, man, like Alderman Burnett rents all of his party tables, chairs, and all that from one of those guys, and tells all the new developers. Well, over the course of years, they've grown. People like, I think Bob Israel even works with where they found these companies, and they've been, a lot of the people that you've seen that were protesters that stopped protesting so much is because they busted the door down. And then when they busted the door down, they realized that once I get the door down, I'm so focused on doing my business. I'm still focused, but I got to do the business. We need those guys. See, we don't have a graduation program from going from a protester to, once you get to the protest and you get your accomplishment, growing your business from that.
Are there more black contractors that are unionized now? I remember my father worked back in the day a lot with Chicago Minority Purchasing Council. He worked very closely with May Foster, worked for Edison, and got a lot of minority companies a lot of work. Is there more unionized black contractor and subcontracting companies? Secondly, are they getting more opportunities than they used to? I'm talking about from the 90s. I know there's huge.
I think it's decreased.
Of what's going on right now.
It's decreased, and I think it's crazy that we have to be unionized to work in our own neighborhood. So white people set the rules for black people to work in their own neighborhoods. No, it's gotten more constricted. And we don't say minority because when you say minority, they can always show the pie is growing. So they count Asians as minority. They count Latinos as minority. Here, we don't want to know shit about minorities. We want to know black, because the numbers will always tell you they're doing good when it's minorities, because I can hire an Asian engineering firm, which is Indian or Asian, and they can have the majority of the work, and that means that it's minority. We don't get it. So here we are very specific on black. Yeah, and I think we're, oh damn, I forgot we doing this thing with Josh. So no, I don't think it's gotten better. I think it's gotten worse.
Women contractors.
I think women contractors is another. I think that women contractors is another issue that really hurts in that space, because they say women and minority, or they put women in space. And if I am a white male, I can bag my wife and then she can come in. If you look at most minority business programs, they over-index with white women. And so white women wind up becoming the majority of minority contracting programs. What up, Brenda? Come to Elgin and I need a roofer. So you should post that. We need to start. You know what? I need to do a black business directory. And also, shout out to Larry Luster. He asked me to do like some black awards for the end of the year. I do think I'm going to do it because I do feel like there's no way to acknowledge the best in black every year, really, not in Chicago. And so I think I am. So stay tuned, and I might even do a little something in January to acknowledge people. But like, I'm watching people give out these people awards for the best campaign, the best this, the best that, and it's no black people. And man, black people did some dynamic stuff this week. So I'm sorry. All right, y'all, I'm through preaching. I'm hot.
The website.
Am I back?
The WVON lineup. Photos.
What's up, Rochelle Montgomery? What up, Brother Patah?
The talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation. 1690 WVON.
This clock is bogus.
A few clouds on this Wednesday, December 12th, 2018. Temperatures topping out at around 38 today, dropping right back down to 30 tonight. I'm Annette Nornoyan in the headlines. A man was hit by a CTA Red Line train this morning. He was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, last listed in critical condition. It happened at around 5 near 63rd Street Station. All Red Line trains will stop from 95th to 47th Street until just about 7 this morning. And Rahm Emanuel wants taxpayers to pay other city bills, including mass transit and road improvement projects across the state. He's calling for an increase in gasoline taxes.
U.S. government shutdown threatened. I'm Evan Haining. A raucous debate is underway in Great Britain's Parliament.
Okay, what song y'all want to be the morning music choice? Give me something, somebody. Quick. Quick. I got one. All right. You got the cameras for sure.
I got the camera again. Hello, everyone. Again, thanks to Maze for having me on the show. Actually, coming to do something like this is so outside of my comfort zone, which is a great thing. A lot of times I think you have to get thrown into a mix of something different. And I'm used to coming on shows and doing TV shows and radio shows about wine. Whether I'm talking about the regions, whether I'm talking about appellations, whether I'm talking about being a small business that lost everything to now being a big part of the industry. This has been an amazing experience. Yes, I have plenty of political views. Yes, I have plenty of views on women and black women in the industry. But this has been a great time for me to kind of mix the pot, stir the pot a little bit, and get into a realm that's not normally my area. So this feels good. It's a great getaway. And I just want to thank you guys for even having me. A lot of you guys have no clue what I do, and you guys are definitely focused on amazing parts of the city of Chicago and focusing on making Chicago better. And for you guys to allow me the opportunity to be here, Maze, for letting me showcase Love Corkscrew and being a guest on here has been really cool, really cool. I work very hard in the industry, and this is the perfect getaway. So thank you. There was a few wine questions on here. One was, what are my sweet wines? So sweet wine, that would be Hard Knock Life, my Concord. That's the sweet red. The sweet white would be Touch the Sky. That is my Niagara, so that's more reminiscent of a Moscato. So the sweeter wines are Touch the Sky. Yes, Chicagoans, a Kanye reference. And Hard Knock Life, those are my sweet ones. The drier ones are my Cabernet Sauvignon, which is we're moving on up, and Good Times, Good Friends, Pinot Grigio. If you want to sit right in the middle, that would be Head Over Heels Sweet Riesling. I think somebody commented that they bought some Riesling. Yes, Matson Liquor has tons of it. Somebody commented on Kimbark. Yes, Kimbark Liquor in Hyde Park, black-owned. Jonathan Swain, he was one of the very, if not the very first location to take in Love Corkscrew 5 years ago. So Jonathan has been a huge supporter of Love Corkscrew. They have all of my wines that's in Hyde Park, black owned. He's just been amazing. So yes, everybody in Kimbark Liquors knows Love Corkscrew. But I'm in several locations, not just the big box stores. I'm in Kenwood, Matson Liquor, somebody named, definitely a lot of other wine shops, and I'm in several Bennies. So if you guys want to know the locations to support Love Corkscrew, just go to lovecorkscrew.com. And you are supporting a black woman winemaker. Yes, again, I'm a negociant, and I've been in the industry for 20 years, own Love Corkscrew for 5. So I am a comeback kid. One of those things, oh, somebody asked about another wine. Any ice wines? No, I don't do ice wines, but again, reminiscent of a sweeter wine would be the Hard Knock Life and the Concord. So Hard Knock Life, and Touch the Sky, which is my Niagara. So those are the two sweeter ones. In the industry, came back from losing everything. So there is a storyline behind Love Corkscrew and Krishan Lampley. I came from having it all, losing it all, almost getting kicked out of my home due to a bad flood that was caused in the brick and mortar that I own. So I used to, yes, own an art gallery and wine shop. We lost it because of baby wipes. So imagine you losing everything that you worked hard for. I owned property in Arbor Gresham. I lost everything due to a flood caused by baby wipes because the condo owners above us flushed non-biodegradable baby wipes down the toilet, which completely backed up into our location. We lost everything. Dram shop insurance did not cover that. So I'm definitely a comeback kid in the industry, and again, the opportunity to come back from losing everything to coming back in the industry booming has been amazing. Do I have anything close to a Merlot? Yes. We're moving up my Cabernet Sauvignon. would be close to a Merlot. So yes, I do. Yes, somebody commented, yes, it was 3Ps. I used to own, I was the co-owner of 3Ps. And
I came there
we
before.
lost everything, yeah. We lost it all from baby wipes. So yes, thanks guys for recognizing that and remembering that. Long time.
Man, I remember that was when I was first courting Carrie. And I came to she had a fundraiser at 3Ps
Yes.
Art Gallery.
Yes. That was
And
awesome.
it's like, ooh. I had just got my Benz. I was showing up.
Oh, you was cool.
You couldn't tell me nothing.
I think I bartended that a bit. Yep.
I remember. All right, y'all. I'm about to do Google. What up, Julian? What up, Ina Jones? Y'all, I think we need to make a demand. We want 20% of all recreational marijuana sales. We want 20% equity in all of it. If it ain't 20% black folks, I'm saying black people shouldn't be for it. We need 20% ownership stake. I feel like we should lay out a map that says that if it indexes at this much percentage of black people, you can't open a dispensary. I don't think we should allow no white folks to be no majority owners in no dispensaries in the black neighborhoods. I'm dead serious. None.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Rise and shine with the WVON Morning Show.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Featuring Maze Jackson.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? This song goes out to all the ladies from
Call 773-599.
the late 80s and early 90s.
Wake up!
Y'all gotta go to iHeart.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
I don't love her. Try to tell myself.
I still love you, Ronnie. Bobby.
See it
Ricky,
in my eyes.
Ralph.
Oh.
It is love. Yes. Just makes you happy. 'Cause if it is love.
Why do I feel this way? Why does she stay on
My mind.
If it is love, why does it hurt so bad? Make me feel so sad inside. Shout out, Carrie. That's to the commissioner. Commissioner Carrie K. Steele, I'm sending that one to you. I told her I'd never fall in love, but now I know better. How does it feel? Oh, I let you know the reason. Woo! Why? You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. You know what? It is the next level morning music choice. And I got to say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom. What's up to Sonia Escobar. She is the musical conductor, as well as Miss Krishan Lampley. Now, you know, I played that one as the next level morning music choice because you know what? That's for... I remember when that song, first of all, when that song comes on, have you ever been somewhere in a club or a venue? I don't care if it's your family reunion. all the sisters run to the floor, and then they all got the dances, and they be stacking them, and then everybody got, you know what?
Miss, I'm 44 years old. I know every single dance move from that entire video. Are you serious?
I'm gonna tell you. That's why I thought I had a good one. So, you know what? I don't know if Ralph love you back though.
Yes, he does.
Can I tell you something? Me and Carrie got some pictures. Ralph was looking Ralph might be the most busted one out of all of them.
Fair.
We saw Ralph sitting on the floor in the airport. He had on the clothes from the night before. Meanwhile, BBD was headed to their private jet.
Right.
Ralph was waiting. I think Ralph sat behind me and Carrie.
Well, Mike is the richest now. You know that.
Yeah,
Mike is the richest.
Mike was like, let's go, y'all. Let's go,
Right,
B.
he's straight. He wrote everybody's song. He's good.
All right, so check this out. You know, this is the Next Level Morning Music Choice. Next Level is a Medicaid-managed health care plan for people with Medicaid who live in Cook County only. Now, the organization manages and coordinates the needs of their members one-on-one right in their own communities. So you better call Next Level Health at 844-807-9734 or visit the website, nextlevelhealthillinois.com for more information. Also, follow us on social media at Next Level Illinois. Now, you all, as we come to the end of 2018, there are things that I continue to look for all the time. One of the things I look for is the countdown. One of the other things I look for is the Time Person of the Year. And new in my psyche is the top Google searches of the year. Now, there's been so many things that have gone on this year, but, you know, before I go here, I always think about like being a parent. And man, my parents, I think how much nicer, how much greater it must have been to be a parent back in like the 70s and 80s. You know, like, you know, the kids didn't have to deal with so many challenges, etc. But I think the most important thing probably back then was you could lie to your kids.
Absolutely.
You could lie to them.
I got lied to.
You could lie to them all the time. You could shelter them. You could be like, yeah, nah. You know what? You could tell them stories like, oh, babies come from a store.
Yep.
Now, if you try to lie to your kids, they say, that ain't what Google said. That is not what Google said, Dad. Babies ain't got nothing to do with a store.
I still believe I came from a store.
So, but it just goes to show how much our worlds have changed and how much life has changed from over time. And now Google, it used to be, Google is the name of a company, but Google is now, as my friend Vince says, an action word. Google is a noun and a verb. Because I'm quick to tell somebody, Google me. Yeah, Google me. Well, so here to talk to us today from Google is Molly Vandenberg. And she is a Google search trend expert to tell us what were the top Google searches of 2018. Now, Molly, welcome to the WVON Morning Show. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being on the WVON Morning Show. So first of all, Molly, I got to start here. I want you to can you tell me what were the top national Google trend searches this year?
Certainly. And so what I will say is that the top trending search, both in the U.S. and actually for this one globally, was the World Cup. And so I found this to be a little bit surprising because the U.S. didn't qualify for the World Cup and didn't participate. But, you know, I feel like soccer fandom is sort of on the rise and people were really interested. So we saw a lot of folks following that event, which I think is a really good showcase of like global togetherness, and people definitely kept tabs on it. So that's what we saw come in at number one. And then we have a few others kind of spanning a couple of different categories.
Okay, so the World Cup came in number one. You know, and in the United States, you know what I think that probably reflects? Our growing trend of immigrants coming to the country and more people having a diverse array, because I'm going to tell you, I saw all types of people up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning from all different types of cultures saying, hey, I'm watching. And I was like, I didn't even know we got down with soccer like that. All right, tell me some other categories of top searches. So tell me what categories you even track.
Yeah, so we check a whole bunch of different categories, and we'll go over some today, but
Okay.
you can also find more at google.com/2018. You know, one of my favorite categories is movies, so we can talk about that as well as songs and a couple of trending questions and also news.
Okay, so give me the trending movie. Tell me it's Black Panther. Come on.
Wakanda.
I am very happy to say that it is Black Panther.
All right, yes, yes, yes. So Black Panther was the #1 trending movie of the year, Google movie of the year.
Yes, it was the #1 trending movie of the year in the United States, and it was actually the only movie to crack like the overall trending search list of the top 10. So lots of search interest in Black Panther. I know that I saw it and loved it, and it sounds like you did too.
Oh, you know I did. Now let me ask you a question. How many searches do you have to get to even qualify?
Yeah, you know, that is a great question, and I can't necessarily give you a benchmark of the number of searches that the top spot would take, because we take, to put together these lists, anonymized aggregate search data of literal trillions of searches that we get over a particular year. But you can imagine that people come to Google and to search for a whole lot of different kinds of information and to discover a lot of different topics. So taking the #1 spot is definitely a big deal, and I know that so many people loved this movie. We're really interested in it. We're probably looking up everything from, you know, where to find tickets to showtimes to reviews and to the actors that were playing in it. So undoubtedly a really big moment.
Are any of those paid for? Because a lot of people use AdWords to pay for Google searches.
So we're talking, you know, just the search trends and what the topics are trending, but people do use AdWords depending on different keywords to advertise their services. But we're just talking, you know,
organic.
Generically, what have people been, you know, typing into the search bar.
Okay, give me the top song.
Yeah, so the top song is a pretty interesting one. You might expect that it was a song that would have come out in 2018, but this year it was actually Bohemian Rhapsody, and I feel like that probably had something to do with the Queen movie coming out of the same name, and people were likely interested in that song, and, you know, it's a pretty epic song, so I'm sure we saw a lot of searches for lyrics and things like that as well. So that one was kind of a blast from the past and pretty interesting.
Okay, now, can you tell me, Molly, what were the top searches in Chicago?
That is a really good question. And so we saw Chicago fall in line pretty well with the national searches. But one thing that we saw was pretty unique was for the Milwaukee Brewers. So, you know, maybe just proximity. People were really interested in that.
You know what I bet that is? That's those doggone Cub fans trying to figure out how they can get some tickets cheap because they can't get to a Cubs game here because they sell out. That's probably what those doggone it Cub fans. All right, how about this? What about, you know what? I see Aretha Franklin cracked the top 10 in Chicago.
Yeah, obviously Aretha Franklin has made so many contributions, and so remembering her and celebrating her was a big deal in a lot of different areas. Chicago, Detroit, we definitely saw a lot of search interest in Aretha, and someone that I know I hold near and dear to my heart. I'm actually from the Midwest. I'm from Metro Detroit myself, so definitely extremely sad news that came out of this year, but I'm so glad to see that so many people remembered and appreciated her.
And then let me ask you this one. Talk to me about politics. What was the top trending political search?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And so what I can say here is one interesting insight that I was able to find is, so a lot of people will come with specific questions in mind when they go to search. And so we see a lot of how-to questions. And the #1 how-to question in the U.S. this year was how to vote, which I think is really indicative of the midterm elections. And we saw also in the news category election results as a trending item as well. So people really wanting to be able to participate, wanting to be able to keep up with the news. That's definitely a trend that we saw this year.
You know, and that probably also falls right in line with the millennial turnout, because maybe this was their first time, or I mean, because I can't imagine an older person asking how to vote from Google. I think I wouldn't see it that way, but I think that probably falls right in line with our millennial, the millennial search. Now, let me ask you this. What are some of the things that, now I don't know if you can do predictive, but what are some of the things that you think or you all expect that will probably be trending as we leave the year or heading into next year?
Yeah, you know, you can never really predict what people are going to do and what they're going to search for. But what I can say is that obviously, as we saw through these topics, people come to search for a whole lot of different things. But in general, a lot of times it's to keep up with news stories and to be able to follow them closely. And so whatever news may come our way, I think that it's safe to say that people will be searching for that. Like, for example, we see that reflected in the trends as well. I know we talked about Aretha and some sad news there, but we also, had a few natural disasters this year with like Hurricane Florence and Hurricane Michael, and those definitely made the trending list in the U.S. for news this year as people really follow those stories, keep up to date with them, and also find ways that they can help.
What was the most shocking search? The most shocking.
The most shocking. So I was pretty shocked by the World Cup, just because, as we discussed, in the United States, I didn't necessarily expect that one. But what I personally was a little bit shocked by is the search, where is Villanova University? And so this ended up spiking near March Madness in the NCAA basketball tournament. And Villanova won. And the reason why this one is a little bit sore for me is that Villanova won over Michigan, and I'm actually a Michigan fan.
Well, you know what? I went to U of I, Muckfish again. I'm just playing. Hey, so Molly, I got to ask this before you go, because, I see all these top trending searches. But my friend tells me that he doesn't believe you. My friend tells me that all the people he knows at Google, he says that he thinks the top trending search, he says you guys have got to have forgotten somewhere on here that nobody ever asked about sex.
So that is a really good question. And what I would say is that I think it has to do with the terminology of what we mean by trending. And so these don't necessarily reflect the top searched items year over year because, in general, some of those things stay the same, like the weather or, names of websites or, possibly that. And so what we're looking for are things that get a sustained period of interest over time this year as opposed to previous years. That would be indicative of the kinds of events.
You know what, Molly? This has been so informative. Now tell people what they should search if they want to see this list or find out more information.
Absolutely. You can head to google.com/2018 for all of these and more.
Hey, Molly, we appreciate you being on the WVON Morning Show, and we appreciate Google because, boy, you certainly have saved my tail in quite a few situations. Actually, Google's also busted me out in a couple of cases, too. Hey, Molly, thank you for being with us, and we appreciate you on the WVON Morning Show. All right, y'all. Now, on Wednesdays we get out of here early because we have the Urban Business Roundtable download. But I just want to say how wonderful it was. I want to encourage you all to go back, go to my Facebook page, to the Maze Jackson page, and check out Poli Sci 102, Anatomy and Dissection. Last night, I broke down the strengths and weaknesses of all the candidates, so I think maybe if you want some insights, it can be helpful. All right. Amen. And also, y'all know I went to the new studios yesterday. We fancy. I got 2 minutes? Oh, I still got 2 minutes? We fancy. Yeah, we gonna be so fancy. It's gonna be so dope. All right, but the other part is, hey, I also, what I did not tell y'all about is, I wonder about Rahm giving away all of this money before he leaves. Again, my biggest concern is that we are ensuring that we are getting the best deal for the best bang for our buck. I just would hate to think that these things are being rushed through in some cases because of insider deals. So I hope that everybody's on the straight and narrow, up and up. Black folks, recreational marijuana or recreational cannabis is coming to Illinois. I'm going to start harping on this. We need 20%. Black people need 20% of all. We want 20% equity in all all recreational marijuana. I think we need maybe we need 50. Maybe we need to try and get 50%. I mean, what percent of the people that are locked up for marijuana use or jail are black? Can we match the percentage of what we get our cut of the business? Can I suggest this? There is a new and emerging industry that is coming to Illinois. It is called cannabis. Right now, they are looking and they are cutting it up. Black Caucus, you all are at the cusp of a new industry being created. Do not unlegislate black wealth. We want in 20% of all should be to the black community. All right, look. For Annette Flournoy in the newsroom. For Miss Sonia Escobar, she is the musical conductor of the Soul Plane. For you, Krishan Lampley, you got your love corkscrew. I see you got them all. You got We Go High, Head Over Heels, Good Times, Good Friends, Touch the Sky. We're growing, we're moving on up, and the Hard Knock Life right here. Y'all check that out. I am the host of the WVON Morning Show. And if you don't like it, you know what you can tell them? You can tell them, May said, we out of here. Peace.
Live from the WVON newsroom. Here's our news now.
A cloudy Wednesday
Bam.
in Chicago. Temperatures are...
You're awesome.
You are welcome. You are welcome. You get that. I'm going to tell you, if you have a holiday pack, I bet you they'll buy it.
I'm going to shoot it out tomorrow. Yes, sir.
Get you like one of them.
I didn't want to start sounding too sales pitchy. That's what I was concerned about.
Ah, okay.
Too much, but thank you. I really appreciate it.
Hey, y'all, take a moment to shatter broadcast. I'm out of here. I'm tired. I'm woe out, but I'm gone. I got to get some rest.